We're here today with Jay and Seides. You've been in the music business for a long time. Your
Uh-huh.
first your first single was "Slowly but Surely." Um, it received world spread radio play. And how did you get in started in music
How did
business?
I get started in music? Oh my gosh. Okay, they delivered a piano to our house when I was 4, and it was supposed to be for my sister, and she was going to get the lessons, and there was no way my sister was going to get something I wasn't going to get. But then it turned out that I had a real affinity for it, and even though she was taking the lessons, I taught myself to read music and played all of her little songs that she was learning. And we convinced her teacher that 4 was not too young and she should at least give me a try. And that was the beginning of it. And I took lessons all the way through grade school and most of high school. And then when I went to college, which was actually, I took some time off and I worked a bunch of places in New York, especially at the Gaslight in the Village, and got acquainted with folk music and lots of other kinds of music. And then I went back to school, and at that point, one of the people I worked with at the Gaslight came in after a full day of teaching guitar, and he said, I can't understand all these people who've been playing guitar for 10 years and they don't know what a major third is. And I looked at him and I had been playing piano for almost 20 years at that point, and I said, what's a major third? So I went back to school, I made music, took all that theory and everything. I've been, pretty much a musician all my life.
Have you always been interested in folk music?
Um, yeah, I know I'm going to get slaughtered for saying this. I was a little disappointed when the Beatles took over the radio because I was really liking Peter, Paul, and Mary and We Five and those folks. So, sorry.
Um, you also won a lot of competitions in songwriting. Has that always been a dream, or have you ever co-wrote it, anything?
I've done a couple co-write sessions. We didn't get anything usable out of them. Usually, what I like to do is curl up with a spiral notebook and just pour it out on paper until something happens. But as far as it being a dream, I have pitch. So it used to be that you had to have a written copy of your song in order to register your copyright. So I would write down people's songs for them, for money, and then they would have a written copy to send in. Well, that stopped being the case in about 1980, maybe, and but I had, in the meantime, taken all these sort of unintentional songwriting lessons. So I was a little surprised, but not, I was surprised when I wrote my first one, but after that kind of crash course in songwriting, I guess it was inevitable.
Okay. Um, do you have anything planned for 2017?
Yeah, I have a new album coming out for one thing, and just keep on doing what I'm doing and hope for the best. Like it's not like I'm ever going to stop doing music. So and good things are happening, and they happen all the time. 2016, I know, was a really hard year publicly, but privately, I had a banner year. I went and toured Israel, got to open for one of my favorite songwriters, and it's just things like that just sort of show up, and then you go, oh, thank you.
You also speak different languages. You travel a lot,
I
country,
I do
different countries.
mostly in the U.S., but I took French in school, and I learned Hebrew for the trip to Israel. And we're talking about Barcelona, and so I'm learning Spanish really slowly. But I've always been interested in languages because my parents spoke a different language than, a lot of my friends' parents did, and they kind of used it as a code. And so I got real interested in what they could be saying.
How can people go and see your music videos, tour dates, and how can they download your music?
Oh, okay. I have a website. It's janseides.com, and I better spell that. It's Jan, S for Sam, EID for David, ES for Sam. Guess how many times I've said that? .com. And also, my videos are at youtube.com/janseides, and there's music both on Reverb Nation and on SoundCloud, and there's even a Facebook page that's facebook.com/janseides music, all one word strung together. Downloading, I'm on iTunes. All of my albums are also at CD Baby besides being on my website. And they take care of making sure it's available for people who want to stream it or want to download it. Right now, they opened up a Spotify channel for me, so it has kind of a long URL that I don't know if I can remember. It's a string of letters and numbers, but I think if you go to Spotify and put my name in the search bar, I'll turn up. And I would love for people to go listen to me there, and if they like what they hear, I would love for them to follow me. It would be really helpful, and I would be very grateful. In fact, if you get in touch with me and say, I just followed you on Spotify, I'll make sure you get a little reward for that. Okay.
What can you say to your supporters out there?
Oh, thank you, first and foremost. I'm so glad that people care about what the music I'm making. And right now, the new album is telling the stories of people in the Bible who never got to speak, and you don't get to know them very well. And I have kind of an inflated sense of responsibility, so I decided it was my job to tell those stories, and that's what that new one is. And it's getting really good attention, and I'm really grateful for it. But it was a project of the heart, just because most of those people who didn't get to tell their stories are female. Not all, but most.
Well, thanks for doing the interview today, and I appreciate it having you.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me, Rich. I appreciate it. Stay in touch, okay?
Okay.